Yo, yo, yo. It's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about why when you go on semen retention, your intelligence your intelligence has skyrocketed. You're just gonna be a lot more intelligent. And the conversations that you used to have back in the past when you were relapsing, when you were partaking in like bad habits and things like that, they probably won't be the same that much anymore. See, the thing is, like, when you go on semen retention, you're you've raised a little bit of consciousness. And what is consciousness? It just means your default state, things that you believe to be true. Um, just what your beliefs are, how you operate, what you really think is true or not. There's a different spectrum to consciousness. We have the highest form is enlightenment, and the lowest form is fear, pity, and very low vibrational type of moods. Now, what do I mean by you're gonna raise your intelligence level? I mean, like, the type of things I used to partake in, the type of habits you used to partake in, the type of habits that you used to partake in, the type of things that you used to do, they no longer really you're not that much attracted to them anymore. You're not attracted to them anymore. You would rather do something else. You would rather do something that can fill your soul, that can fill your spirit. Because the thing is, like, you start realizing that we actually are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And so the carnal desires that we normally have, that men and women usually have, which is probably like sexual and like overeating and just operating from the ego mind, the lower vibrational ego mind, it no longer really serves as its purpose. Also, the type of conversation we partake in, no really, we start realizing that we can't even have normal conversations with normal people, because you can get bored very, very easily. If you're dealing with someone who seems to be like shallow, who all they talk about is like the Matrix, just normal things that we're all accustomed to, that we were all fed to believe, you can get bored very quickly, because what really is happening is they're operating from a different level of consciousness than you. They're not as enlightened as you. They're not really aware of what life really is. See, the thing is, like, what your life is it you can use the term illusion, but what I mean by illusion is whatever you tend to believe the most, focus on the most, talk about the most, watch the most, it starts becoming more of your reality. It starts becoming more of your reality. You will see evidence of the things that you start talking about, the things that you start believing, the things that you read about, you watch about, and things like that. Now, the thing is, like, people's perception of reality is skewed by the things that they partake in, by the news that they watch, by the people they listen to, by the public opinion, by the companies they give their money to, by the things they like to listen to while they're sleeping. If you sleep with the TV on, and maybe you're listening to the news, but you sleep with the news on, what really is happening is that suggestions are going into your brain, your subconscious. And if you do this consistently, you're going to have a fearful state of mind. If it is the news, you might have nightmares, because all they like to talk about is what's wrong with the world. There was a shooting here, this happened, there's this. They like to put fear into your brain, and that germinates and it expands, and then now you start inhibiting yourself because you're fearful. You start not taking action because you're fearful. You're fearful of things that can happen. So I mean, like, the best thing, and that also lowers your vibration. It makes you look at the worst possible case scenario. It makes you think lack. It makes you think negative. It lowers your vibration. So like I said, like, when you go on semen retention, your intelligence, your inner genius, and everybody has this inner genius in them. Your inner genius is skyrocketed, meaning, like, all the things that just things just make more sense. You start looking at things from a different perspective. You start vibrating a little bit differently. Like I said, the things that your habits that you used to partake in, when you relapse, they no longer satisfy you as much. The people that you used to have conversations with, they no longer satisfy you as much. You need more room. You need more room for growth. Your spiritual sense, your intuition, is blossoming. You're vibrating. You're living at a greater consciousness. You've expanded your mind. You realize that all the things that you believe in, what you read in, and things like that, usually tend out to materialize in the physical world. So you start being very careful about the people you talk to, the news that you watch, and the things that you listen to. And like I said, your intelligence is skyrocketed. Like, you just become a lot more intelligent. You might have better recall. You might have better memories. You might be able to put two and two together. You might be able to connect single things. You start realizing that every single thing that happened to you might be part of a story that might be a little bit bigger than what you are. So you stop fearing things. You're living as is. You're living in the moment. You're in a heaven state like mine. You're in a freedom state like mine. And these are very powerful ways to live your life, because everybody doesn't want you to live like this. They want you to live in a fearful like state of mind. They want you to listen. They want you to not question anything, and they want you to submit to the corporations. They want you to submit to authority. They want you to be fearful. They want you to be put in debt. They want you to be put in debt that you can't pay off, so you're handcuffed financially to the system. This is what they want you to do. This is what they want you to do. And people who are ignorant of their power, of how they can create their reality and how they can really become something, are ignorant to this fact, and their habits never change, and they're living in quiet desperation. They're angry when they wake up. They have no purpose. They like to distract themselves with things just so they can pass the time. They're living in the mass majority of men live in quiet desperation, but you don't have to be like one of them. You can live in a freedom state like mine. You can live in a heaven state like mine. You can govern yourself. You can be self-reliant. You don't have to rely on the system to make ends meet. They want you to be obedient. This is what they want. So like I said, like, when you go on retention, you start realizing these things. You start having a thirst for knowledge. Like, an example is, like, if you used to, like, in your free time, just like mindlessly scroll through social media, mindlessly watch games and apps like that, you start realizing maybe you want to read a little bit more. You have a thirst for knowledge. You want to read books that make you feel better. You want to read self-help books. You want to read books like Power versus Force, like The Science of Getting Rich, Think and Grow Rich. You want to read books that can really help you in your life if you apply it well. And like I said, but the thing is, when you relapse, it's just that your talk is mediocre. You talk about how things are not happening. You're lethargic, you're slow, you're unenthusiastic, you're fearful. You're basically living in quicksand. You think that the worst possible case scenario happens. When opportunity arises in your life, you pass it over repeatedly, and this is why you're still stuck in the same place. You like to entertain yourself with meaningless things. when you're vibrating at a lower consciousness, when you're vibrating at a lower frequency. Like, the thing is, like, there is a correlation between everything. Like I said, whatever you read into, whatever you watch, whatever you usually do, talk about, and things like that, they will start being manifested into your reality. So if you want a different reality, it would be best to change your thoughts, your actions, and your words that you speak, because life and death are in the power of the tongue. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Whatever you talk about, mostly, whatever you speak about, whatever you think about and daydream about, starts attracting itself to you. Like, the thing is, people sit on their couch in a fearful like state and make these bizarre scenarios of the worst possible things that could happen to them in some sort of situation. What if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't happen? And they feel very bad about it. And the thing is, what you're indirectly doing is you're actually attracting things to be more fearful of, because once you sit like on the couch and then you're imagining the worst possible case scenario and you feel like it's gonna happen and you feel very bad about it, things that mirror how you felt start happening. You might start realizing that you get another bill. If you're in a car and you're in a negative state of mind, you might realize that the cops might pull you over because of something. Another thing, if you're in a negative state of mind and you're going to work in the morning, you might realize that there's more traffic than usual. You might realize that you missed every light and you arrived late. There's a correlation between all of this. None of this is happening by coincidence. It's about your energetic aura. It's about what you're vibrating at. It's about what you think, what you believe to be true. And if you're living in an upbeat mood, you have purpose, you have intention, the Most High is going to mirror things in your life to help you get to where you want to be. This is all it. But the thing is, people don't extend their power. They like to sedate themselves with meaningless activity and pass over years. Like, if you don't have anything to look forward to, and it might be you're just looking forward to the weekend, then you're going to live a very long and meaningless life, because life in itself is a very long one. So you have to have things that you can really look forward to, instead of things that you are always just looking forward to, like the weekend and things like that. Like I said, your frequency, what your energetic aura, what you believe to be true, and what your mood is, gets higher. You start carrying a lot more dopamine. Even if problems arise when you're on retention, you find ways to overcome the problems and on to the next one. You tolerate less. If people are acting very negative or very lethargic around you, you can't even stand to be in the same room as them, because you both of your auras, what your beliefs are and what their beliefs are totally too contradictory itself. And people who are different, they can't really be together. Like attracts like. Similar people attract similar people. Miserable people attract miserable people, so they can talk about the things that they think are true. But people who are abundant, people who want a little bit more, who are never the victim, who are willing to go to the full extent to get what they want, they will be attracted to each other. This is how the world lives in harmony. So, I mean, if you ever find a reason why, if you ever think, maybe if you are on retention, or if you're just on a self-help journey or something like that, and you start realizing why you're no longer correlating with maybe some old friends, some maybe even siblings or family members like that, it's because you've elevated your consciousness. You don't think the worst is out to get you. You're actually very optimistic for the future. And now You have to have people who mirror those beliefs into your life, or you just can't, or it just can't. You just can't go through life. You're gonna be you're not gonna be as happy as you could be, and you realize these things too. So yeah, like your intelligence skyrockets. You just become a better overall person. You're returning to your true authentic self. And people who operate from their ego, they can't look at you in the eye. People who operate from their fake self, they're not their real authentic self. They can't be in the same vicinity as you, because if you're operating from your true authentic self, it's just that some people may not like this powerful aura that you're giving off, and they will divert. They will go in hiding. But people who feel who you really are, they will be attracted to you. You will never lack for a congregation. You will have people ask you questions. You will have people want to become like you. And this is a very good feeling to have. You can really become who you want to be. So yeah, so like the video, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.